Let's make biscotti, a twice-baked cookie originating in Italy. When I had my restaurant, we would make biscotti in the kitchen with orange zest or chocolate chips or anise extract and then dip them in dark Belgian chocolate. Customers would pair their biscotti with their favorite cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate and then dip it into their drink to let their cookie absorb some of that liquid and flavor, and then they'd savor each bite as the cookie melted in their mouth. Traditional biscotti are typically made with roasted almonds and then served with a drink. But today you can find many varieties of biscotti from pistachio and chocolate, orange, lemon, and many other kinds. What's your favorite? Well, many recipes out there contain some form of fat like butter or oil, which would certainly allow for a moister cookie. The original recipe doesn't contain any fat or milk, making it a very dry dough, which is why this recipe has drawn me to it. And it's not difficult to make either. As a bonus, these cookies have a great shelf life as they're twice baked. So making them ahead of any holiday or party will allow you to focus on other things, but still allow you to offer your guests something really tasty and unique. So foodies, I'm going to show you how to make an orange biscotti dipped in a dark Belgian chocolate. Orange and chocolate is one of my favorite flavor combinations, and I think you are going to love it. Let's salivate together as we make biscotti. And we want to start by mixing our dry ingredients. So I'm going to start with my gluten-free all-purpose flour and some cinnamon, my baking powder, my baking soda, and my salt. And I just want to mix this together just to combine it. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And then in my mixer, I want to add my sugar and my vanilla extract and my white sugar. And then lastly, I want to add 4 eggs. And I like cracking my eggs in a separate container before adding it into the bowl, just to make sure that there's no shells and the egg hasn't turned. So there's 1 and 2. That's 3. And there's 4. So I'm going to put in my attachment, and we're going to just whisk this up and combine it. Now that I've got the liquid all combined, I'm going to add all of my dry. It's very similar to a regular traditional cookie recipe. The only difference is we didn't put any fat in there. So I'm going to mix this up. It's going to be a really dry dough. So you can see it's just started to come together. It's really nice. It's really sticky. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zest an orange. Oh, that smells good. Okay, and let's drop that in there. And I'm going to take just a squeeze of juice there. Just a couple tablespoons of juice. Okay, and I'm going to mix this up. Okay, so the juice has actually made it a little bit wetter, which is really nice, but it's still a rather dry dough. It's certainly a heavy dough. Oh, it smells lovely. Here we go, that's all been cleaned. So I'm going to scrape this out. We're going to make essentially 2 logs of biscotti. Okay, drop it there. I'm going to get a little bit more flour. I'm going to get some of my dusting flour just to keep it from sticking to the things. You can see it sticking to the counter. Ah, that's better. I'll take that off the scraper. There we go. That's a nice looking dough. So I want to make 2 logs, and we're just going to roll them. You want to make them roughly the same size all the way across. Like, you don't want them to be pinched at one end. It's okay if they're like one's a little bit longer and one's a little bit shorter. That's okay as long as they're similar in size. And I've got a parchment paper lined baking sheet here, and we're just going to drop them onto this and make sure they're flat-ish. There we go. And that's about 2.5 centimeters to 1 inch in thickness. There we go. So I'm going to bake these in a preheated oven of 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for about 15 minutes. This is the first bake done of the biscotti. You can see like it's nice and browned on the bottom. It's essentially cookie at this point, but we want to make it a twice baked cookie. So I'm going to just set that aside for a minute, and we're going to lift them off. They've just come out of the oven, so they're very warm. And what you want to do is you want to cut them on a diagonal. And so I'm going to start at this end. And they're quite crumbly, and I want to cut them just under 1 centimeter or about 5/8 of an inch, maybe a little thinner. Not super thick. You want them essentially about cookie thickness. And so we've sliced a few, and I just want to pull one out just so that we can look at it. You can see like it's beautiful on the inside. Oh, it smells so good. So I'm going to go ahead and slice all of these up. There we go. So they've all been sliced, and I want to lay them down on one side. Oh, that's beautiful looking, and they're super warm. Whew. You can see some of them have lost little bits of their ends. You want to really take your time when you're slicing them so that they don't essentially break apart on you. Okay, so that is one of them. And I've got a second baking sheet here. And I'm going to do this one. So these are going to go back into the oven for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to flip the cookie over and bake them for another 10 minutes. I'm going to bring them out and let them cool. These look amazing. They were exactly 10 minutes on either side. You can see just how brown and crunchy. Oh, they smell so good. The little bit of orange on there. So now we need to dip them in a bit of dark chocolate. So I've gone ahead and melted some dark Belgian chocolate. You want to make sure it stays in temper. If you want to know how to temper chocolate, I have done videos before about how to temper chocolate, but the rule of thumb is when you're melting chocolate, you melt it down and you don't want the temperature to go over 34 degrees Celsius. And as long as it doesn't go over 34, you should be able to keep the chocolate in temper. And that's basically melting about 2/3 of the chocolate and then having that last third and just adding it and just stirring it and stirring it and stirring it until it melts all that chocolate. So I think I just want to dip the ends. And so I'm just going to take this and do that. And I think that is going to be beautiful. Oh, we'll get the other side as well. There go. So I'm going to go ahead and dip the rest of these, and when they're all done, we can give it a try. See you in a moment. They look really good. I can't tell you how excited I am with these. I mean, they look absolutely amazing, and oh, the chocolate and the orange, and they're nice and crisp. I mean, it's great. A little bit of chocolate on my fingers. So I've made a cup of tea because I thought, you know what, it's how it's done. So I'm just gonna take a biscotti. I'm gonna dip it in. Oh, the chocolate gets nice and soft and melty. That was a big bite. Oh, I love the crunch. I love the firmness of it. I had an old biscotti recipe and I was just never really happy with it, and it had fat in it. It had butter in it, I believe. And then I removed the butter and obviously had to add egg and things like that to fill in the wetness that was removed. And they're so good. Oh my goodness. It was good on its own. Wow, it's so good. So if you're looking for the full recipe, visit glutenfreeguy.ca. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. I'm always happy to answer questions. Thanks for watching. Oh, that's a good cookie.